This little homestead video is just going to be a few clips of me starting my garden, and there's not going to be much editing because I don't have time for that with this channel. There will be a little bit of voiceover on some of the video clips because I still haven't naturally figured out where the microphone is on my phone when I'm excited to film something. So my hand is like periodically covering the microphone and the sound is horrible and annoying. So once in a while I'll voice over some video clips. So let's begin. I'm going to be starting some seeds today, and I like to use this coconut core. I used it last year, but I didn't use this brand. This one was on sale. So I wanted to read the instructions because I wanted to make sure I did it right. But I don't quite understand. It says lay block down that somewhere with good drainage. And then later on it says do not use hot water over. I don't know what that is. And then over here it says it promotes abundant populations of beneficial aerobic soil microorganisms. Well, I went through and organized all my seeds, which are in this box here. I wanted to show, I got several gifts from a very generous friend, a Colombo friend named Ben, and his family shared seeds with me for a Christmas present. Some of them I'm showing today because some of them I'm going to begin their planting. First of all, we've got two different apple seeds here, and I'm going to see if I can get these to sprout, and then I'm going to plant them, and that is very exciting. Then he sent me some peach pits. I've never been able to get peach pits to sprout, but I've only ever tried it with these really old ones I found outside, so they were probably dead anyway. So I'm going to be planting some Walla Wallas. These were really successful last year. I had huge softball-sized onions, and they were very delicious. What's interesting about onions is if you do start them early, you can actually transplant them a whole month before your last frost date, which is incredible. So, it says there are approximately 200 seeds in here. I'm going to plant one in each corner of this. These I purchased off of Amazon. Amazon has almost everything, which I don't know if that's good or bad. It's convenient. Onion seeds are so small. But in each corner, I'm going to put a little indentation. Just so that you see what I'm doing, but I'm not going to film me doing all of this. One seed. I want to see how well these germinate. So one seed per corner. That one flew away. And then I'm just going to kind of cover it up. This coconut core doesn't have much for nutrients from my experience, so once these start growing decently, I am going to take them out and move them. I know you're not really supposed to do a lot of transplanting, but that's what I'm going to do. Because all over they say you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. And they're not always right. Like I read, you're not supposed to transplant sunflower seeds. Well, I did it anyway, and it turned out great. Well, I might as well make a video, right? This is the very beginning of my garden. These are cucumbers. They're awfully limp already. They're very upset about being moved out here. I built this trellis last night, real quick. And I'm about to plant some Kentucky Wonder. These seeds were given to me by my mother-in-law for my birthday, because I asked for seeds for my birthday. So let's plant these now. It says to sow them about 3 inches apart in average soil. So we're going to put one there, or two. I'm trying to visualize 3 inches in my head. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll do 8. That sounds good. Okay. I'm going to cover them. But I want to make sure that they're in kind of a valley for watering purposes. Okay. See how there's kind of a valley there? All right. Those are our Kentucky Wonder green beans. I came back in because I'm going to plant some tomatoes. But I also needed to look at my seeds some more. I don't think I'm doing beets today. We just did our beans. These were a gift from Ben. But I have a question, Ben. Are these bush beans or are these pole beans? Because then I make sure I plant them in the right spot. What I decided for now is I need to get some dill in the ground. And here is a special basil. African Ninum basil. Our library has a seed catalog. You know, they replaced their card catalog with a seed catalog, which is so cool. And they're free. You just can't go in there and take them all. So that's where this odd one came from. So I'm going to try to, maybe I should grow this. No, we'll do it outside. We'll grow that, see if anything happens. And I should probably plant another basil, shouldn't I? I could do, I have a lot of basils actually. Thai basil's really pretty. Let's do some Thai basil. And then we're gonna plant some French vanilla coffee beans. I'm just kidding. These are bush beans that I saved from when we first got here. There was still a garden left over. And I saved all these beans, and there's still that many left, and this is going on year 3. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully they sprout pretty well. I need to save beans again because these are, like I said, 3 years old. And so I can keep my tomatoes straight. This row is my orange tomatoes from salvage seeds from the old garden. This one is rainbow tomatoes. These are stuck to each other. They need to be planted. Rainbow, which is not actually rainbow. It's just got a little bit of color in it. Yeah, these tomatoes are in love. Man. They need to be planted really bad. These are Blue Beauty. I'm very curious about that one. These ones are Panto something. Pitano. Romanasco. I think those were from the library. And then from my buddy Ben, we got, of course, the incredible giant Belgium tomato. And then the early girl. This year, Ben, I'm not planting cherry tomatoes, even though you gave me some cherry tomatoes. You gave me some Roma seeds too, which I might still plant those. But I'm not doing cherry tomatoes this year because I had a ridiculous amount of cherry tomatoes volunteers last year. And I just had so many cherry tomatoes. I might plant them later. Tomatoes grow so fast, you can always decide later to plant them. I am going to, however, plant some of your jack-o'-lanterns and your pretty decorative pumpkins that you have written here. I'm curious about those. cantaloupe. We love cantaloupe. And some mammoth sunflowers. I'm going to plant those with a cute little drawing on it. Yeah, let me know if these are bush beans or pole beans, and then I'll plant these too. That'll be really helpful. You are very kind with all of your seeds. Maybe I should plant some of these. I might start some of these today. I'm going to have too many tomatoes. You know how it goes. But then there's always that chance that there's blight, right? It'll kill your tomatoes. So let's head back outside. As we head out to the garden, I just wanted to show off that my irises are finally starting to bloom. I've learned that some people's irises are about done for. Already done blooming. So there's a beautiful purple one. These ones I planted over here last year. Purple and yellow. Which is cool. Oh, my peonies or peonies, so that other people can translate what I'm saying. Peonies. Can't wait till they start blooming. This one's about ready to burst. Look at that. Excited. I got an armful of tomatoes, so let's go to the garden. So I've got a whole lot of dill seed. Like a lot. That's a lot. And I read that cucumbers actually enjoy being planted next to dill. So I'm going to put dill all the way all along here. And I'm just going to gently, come on, scatter dill throughout here. And then, right on top of it, I'm going to put some water. I don't care if it's dispersed in a weird way. I think I completely missed all that. I need to put a tripod out here. And then, I'm going to cover it. I'm missing everything. I need to work on my filming. I just need to bring a tripod out is what I need to do. And I need to make sure it's mounded still so that I can find it. That was a good view, huh? And then water on top of that to make it a clear. Okay, that's a dill row. A little bit of gallows humor here, but I buried my tomatoes in a little grave, broke off their arms, because we want to bury their stems a little bit. And so you take off those bottom two arms so that they're not touching the ground. You don't really want their leaves touching the ground. And I'm just going to, actually, I want to get some water first. First, I'll pour some water in here. And then fill it in. But again, we want to make sure that when I come to water it later, that there will be a little wall. Otherwise, all the water will run out. I have this problem all the time. If we build a little hot tub here, the water will sit right there. There, and that will be its little watering spot. Now I'm going to do that with each one. And we have to remember what tomato is what. That's my orange tomato. I've already forgotten what this is, but it's in the order of those. So I got to go back and look at those. Then I'll list them here in a second. Okay, help me remember. First one on the left is the early girl. Then the giant Belgium. Then Pantano Romanesco or something like that. Then Blue Beauty. Then Rainbow. And then Orange. And those are bonus tomatoes. And I still have that whole pile of repeating these tomatoes. Okay? So Orange, Rainbow, Blue, Pantano Romanesco, Giant Belgium, Early Girl. I forgot I had one last variety, and it's this one. These seeds were given to me by a friend of ours named Steve, and he just says they're sauce tomatoes. I don't know if that's their real name or if they're unnamed sauce tomatoes, but it's perfect though because there's a spot right here. Right here, and we'll dig its little grave. My shadow is really in the way and it's bothering me. Okay, now I have these all planted in the same cup, so I have to separate one out. Alright, got it separated from its pot, broke its arms, put it in its grave. Gonna water it. Now the thing about this, even though that sounds so mean, you broke its arms and put it in its grave, it's gonna help it grow better and bring more life. So for plants, it's not as tragic, you know. It's not death in this situation, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So we gotta make our little, kind of like a little hot tub here for the watering. Okay. You see that? Water can't run anywhere but down. That's what we want. Alright, that's all my tomatoes. And I just built this fence thing today. Just kind of had scraps of cattle panel and stuck it in here. I'm always struggling with my tomatoes, keeping them up. They all fall over. They get so big and giant. So we'll see how this goes this year. Then on the very end, I have a little cup of parsley I grew. I'm going to put it just right here. That's Elvis growing. I need to go get some more water. I need 2 hands, but I'm gonna make it look nice right here. So I used to plant them in their own separate rows, and the only difference is they do have different colored flowers, but when it came to taste, I couldn't taste any difference, and I was canning them all together, so I decided I'm just gonna plant them in the same row and not separate them this year. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna plant around 1 per 3 inches, something like that. I'm just gonna go the whole way. Okay, we got our beans in, and before I cover them, I'm going to water them, and then cover them, and then water them some more. I missed all that, didn't I? Let's try again. Wow. I really need to bring a tripod out because this is really hard to film and work. I keep missing it. Anyway, let's try to film this and then I'm going to quit filming. now that I've watered my row, I am again going to try to make it like a little trough. So when I come water it again, it will stay in its row. So, see, you can still see my beans, but we're going to start covering them. But we got to make a trough. All right, here's where I need to do a voiceover. So you'll see that our beans have already sprouted, which is pretty cool. And today I am filming planting seed tomatoes. But first we're going to look over here at the tomatoes that we planted earlier. I also, without filming, planted some of my onion sprouts. Well, here's some weeds. The velvet leaves are all popping up. But the garden was neglected for 3 days because we had company over Memorial Day weekend. And so here's my sad looking tomatoes, but they'll be fine. Tomatoes are so tough. As long as they have water, they'll just keep living, even if they look terrible. Anyway, I'm showing that I'd mowed today, so I ran out of time, and I have started putting in seed potatoes. These are just potatoes that I saved from last year's harvest. If they were kind of small, I just save them to plant for next year. So they're these shriveled up things that are sprouting these long, pale arms, and here they are. And I know for a fact that these will grow into really healthy bushes, tomato bushes, or potato bushes, because this is what I did last year. You just save your old shriveled up potatoes and plant them, and they will grow. It's quite amazing, really, because it was an experiment for me last year. So now that I know it works, I'm going to do it again. What's next? Today, we're going to plant my leggy cabbages. Look at these poor things. But what's wonderful, you can bury these deep, kind of like tomatoes. So that's what we're doing. They look cute when they're in the ground. So I'm going to break off these yellow looking leaves and bury it up to there. So I spent a really long time hoeing the whole garden because this is a few days later. The velvet leaves were everywhere. And that row on the right, those are beets that I just planted, beet seeds. And the really leafy ones on the right are eggplants. The ones in the cans are more tomatoes. And then our cabbages and our potatoes and more eggplants and our beans and another eggplant on the left. Those big old leaves, those are the eggplants. And I'm just really happy with how clean the garden looks because it was getting real weedy. And I have to do this for my other garden, which is behind me. So for now, this ends our current homestead video. Of course, there's loads of work to do, but this is where we're ending today. Let me know if you want me to film something specific or if you even are interested. I figured I would document it a little bit. I have a hard time remembering to film when I'm out in the garden because I just want to be out there in the silence, and sometimes I don't know what to say. So let me know what you guys would enjoy if you want.